from Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
We were given permission.
Uncalled for. This is how Dr. Maricar Limpin, president of the Philippine College of Physicians, describes presidential spokesperson Harry Roque's reaction to the group's appeal not to downgrade Metro Manila to general community quarantine. In a video obtained by Marlon Ramos of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Roque was seen raising his voice and pointing his finger as he scolded Limpin during a virtual meeting of the IATF on Tuesday.
At this point in time, ang marinig ho namin na GCBQ means na patuloy na tataas, and definitely hindi ho natin kakayanin na, and we are begging you to please place na lang po ninyo yung NCR and the other places po, no, dito sa Pilipinas on ECQ, and we would like to request na sana po ay gawin po ninyo na hard ECQ, meaning to say yung tunay na ECQ, hindi po yung ECQ na katulad nung nakita natin nitong August.
Your association would at least recognize that we are employing an entire government approach to the problem. Do not sit there as if we're the only ones right. We're trying to achieve total health. Who wants COVID to kill people? Are you saying that only medical frontliners are concerned about the health of the people? We all want to save lives. We're crying out loud. No one in government wants a single life lost. No one.
In the video, another participant in the meeting tried to pacify Roque, but the latter only replied,
How dare you think that we are not considering steps to prevent the loss of lives?
Relax, partner, relax.
They have to hear this. Our government approach, thinking about economic ramifications, thinking about people who will go hungry, does not mean we care any less. And let me point out to everyone, this group, they have never said anything good about government response.
After the video went viral, the palace spokesman apologized.
Kinukumpirma ko po, no, na tayo po ay naging emosyonal at pasensya naman po kayo, tao lamang. Doon sa rekomendasyon ng dalawang doktor, si Dr. Limpin at si Dr. Dance, na mag-impose ng hard ECQ lockdown. At naging emosyonal din po si Dr. Limpin at napaiyak. Doon po ako naging emosyonal. Kasi para namang importante rin po na marinig yung damdamin ng mga maliliit na tao nating mga kababayan na nagugutom na po dahil sa parating pag-lockdown. Kung meron po akong na-offend sa aking pananalita, well, humihingi po ako ng abiso. Pero kinakailangan na pong pakinggan natin ang boses ng mga hindi naririnig sa IATF.
Dr. Limpin said she was surprised by Roque's reaction.
I think the reaction is really uncalled for. If ever tingin niya mali kami, or if ever tingin niya we are not considering the economic, but you know, we actually were considering also the economic impact. It's just that pag nag-collapse ang healthcare system natin, and then so many more people will die from this pandemic, then I think wala rin yung economy, yung helping the economy.
Limpin said forgiving Roque is not up to her.
Are you accepting his apology?
It is not up to me to forgive. It is, I think, ang outburst niya is, for me, no, it is not really directed against me. It is directed against the whole of the healthcare workforce. Personally, parang kung ganyan ang magiging spokesperson ni Presidente, siguro dapat palitan na lang siya ni Presidente.
Various health workers and advocates groups also called for Roque's resignation.
The Philippines will implement a new quarantine policy. The Interagency Task Force on COVID-19 approved provisionally the guidelines on the pilot testing of the alert level system in Metro Manila. The new strategy will focus on granular lockdowns in areas with high COVID-19 infections instead of more widespread quarantines. Under the new strategy, local government units can lock down specific areas upon the recommendation of a local health official. Only healthcare workers, overseas Filipino workers, and emergency cases will be allowed to go in and out of areas under lockdown. The LGU and the Social Welfare Department will provide assistance to families and individuals affected by the lockdown.
Well, talagang ang tagumpay po nito ay nakasalalay sa mga lokal na pamahalaan. Itong granular lockdown naman, dati na nang ginagawa ng mga lokal na pamahalaan. Pinapainting lang talaga natin. Pero magbibigay naman po tayo ng ayuda para hindi na sila, in fact, hindi lang ayuda ang ibibigay natin, pagkain ang ibibigay natin para meron na sila makakain habang sila po ay naka-lockdown.
Aside from granular lockdowns, the new strategy also calls for the implementation of a new and supposed simpler alert level system. Unlike current quarantine classifications, restrictions of alert levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be on 3 Cs, or close contact activities, closed areas, and crowded areas.
Ano po ba itong mga ehemplo o sample itong mga close, crowded, and close contacts? Kasama ho dito yung religious gathering, social gathering or mga parties, yung ating meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibits, yung mga indoor tourist attractions, yung ating personal care at dine-in.
Under Alert Level 1, authorities will allow the full operation of establishments or activities along with the implementation of minimum public health standards. 50% capacity for Alert Level 2, 30% for Alert Level 3, while these will be prohibited under Alert Level 4. However, the capacity will increase by 10% if the establishment has a safety seal certification and if the activity or gathering is conducted outdoors. Meanwhile, individuals aged 18 and below, senior citizens aged 65 and above, pregnant women and those with comorbidities will not be allowed outdoors under Alert Level 4. LGUs can determine those allowed outside under Alert Level 2 and 3, while there will be not much restriction for Alert Level 1 aside from the implementation of the minimum health standard. Private establishments, meanwhile, can have a minimum on-site capacity while they can allow many employees on-site under Alert Level 1. But should the situation worsens, the IATF has the option to declare a widespread lockdown under Alert Level 5 or the enhanced community quarantine. Authorities, however, are still finalizing whether the National Capital Region will be placed under Alert Level 4 when it pilots the new strategy next week, including whether they will allow limited indoor or al fresco dining under Alert Level 4. Meanwhile, the palace is asking businessmen for understanding after it flip-flopped on the Metro's quarantine classification earlier this week. Authorities clarify that while the new strategy is being tested in Metro Manila, the rest of the country will still be under the old quarantine system.
At least 3 people have been killed and 31 others remain missing due to Tropical Storm Julina, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council says. The fatalities were reported in Masbate Province. The NDRRMC says more than 20,000 families were affected by Julina in Central Luzon, Mimaropa, Bicol Region, Western and Eastern Visayas, and Metro Manila. Over 3,540 houses were damaged, while nearly 300 were totally destroyed. Over in Lipa City in the province of Batangas, violent waves whipped the village of Halang at the height of the typhoon. Powerful storm surges also reached nearby huts. More than 30 fish cages were destroyed, leading fishermen to lose 200 tons of fish.
Bali po sa sobrang lakas ng hangin at lalaki ng alon, nawasak po yung mga cages nila. Tayo mga lambat, mga nahalit na stira.
According to the Department of Agriculture, about 4.9 million pesos worth of high-value crops, including vegetables, were wiped out in Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and Masbate, which is one of the hardest hit areas. So far, damage to agriculture is more than 206 million pesos. Batangas City also saw substantial flooding.
Kita ko na yung, dahil meron kaming itaas, tinitingnan ko yung tubig. Mabilis ang pagtas ng tubig. Bago nahabol nga pa yung mga alas 11 ng tanghali. ay talaga kung sabi ko sa aking mag-iina ay likas na.
Ay di anak, kaya ang nararamdaman ko, paano kaya ang aming kalalagayan. Kami naman anak ay mahirap lang na tao. Diyos ko, ang aking kabibili-bili pang bigas ay nadala pa ng baha.
The storm also cut a trail of destruction in various parts of Lubo, Batangas, downing trees and damaging vegetation. More than 50 local villages are affected by the powerful storm. Over 200 families who have been evacuated to temporary shelters were allowed to return home.
This is the future. Forget what you know about currency, commerce, investment. The age of Bitcoin is upon us. And now anyone, anywhere can turn cash into crypto with a coin flip ATM. Booyah.
With low fees and 24/7 support, CoinFlip makes crypto so flippin' easy. Go to coinflip.tech to find an ATM near you.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show. Today, I have a very pretty, exciting, and very interesting young girl, Filipino-American. And she spends her part-time hours that she enjoys in modeling. And her name is Lena Changson Herrero. And Lena, I've known her since she was a little girl through my very good friend, her aunt, Rose Tocino. And I remember that day when I used to go to their place. Lena, welcome to our show.
Hi, Tita Veronica. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm out of curiosity. You stated in the info that you emailed me that the modeling agency nowadays is they are not into the typical model type that are tall and
tall.
Racy.
Yeah, they're not into the tall and skinny, like the typical model that you see before. So they're very diverse now, and that is wonderful for us models that are short and petite and not within, the skinny type, but very diverse because, people are taking a look at that now and they want to see how they want to look in type of clothing and type of outfits and not just seeing all of the skinny women or men, right? Featuring those type of outfits that you may think that it will look good on you and then it doesn't. So having diverse people seeing that firsthand before you go ahead and buy it, it's pretty cool. And the industry is now into that. So it's great overall for everyone.
Please tell us about your height and your weight.
So I am a 5 feet tall and not as tall, but 5 feet tall.
You must be wearing 4 to 5 inch heels.
Yes, I do sometimes. I have to, right? And I am about 125 pounds.
About what size dress?
That is 6'7" dress.
Still petite.
Yes, I can tell you when I started back in 2019, I was about size 8'10".
Really? And
yes.
You lost all that weight.
I lost a little bit. I lost a little bit.
And Lena, I want to tell our viewing audience that Lena is a mother of 2 teenagers. And she is, well, she also works full time somewhere as a quality processor. Can you please tell us about your full time job?
Yeah, so my full-time job, I am a director of quality at a food manufacturing company. So, as part of, with the pandemic and making food for the people, we do a lot of food boxes that you can buy from the store and then cook it at home. So, yeah, that's what we do. I've been doing that for more than 20 years now. I used to be in the pharmaceutical world at Abbott Laboratories, and then I moved to the food industry. And but I have been in the quality department for more than 20 years.
So impressive, Lena. Busy working full time, a busy mother at the same time, and also busy modeling of part time. And you said that you, in your bio, that you have about 7 modeling agencies handling you. How do you do that?
So it's really a lot of networking, right? So once you get into it, you go ahead and introduce to a lot of people, a lot of agents as well, and you just network with them. And if they go ahead and say that they like you for a look for their designers, for example, they go ahead and call you. And I stick to actually 4 right now that are they have been very supportive and very good with my career, at least for being a model. And they're the House of Chalk, Model Icon Incorporated in Chicago. House of Chalk is in St. Louis. And also Fresh Start Talent Academy, which is in Illinois. It's in Dreyer, Illinois area. And also United Together fashion show, which is now based in LA. They used to be based in Minnesota, but the CEO moved to LA because they're getting bigger, right? So they're doing a lot of virtual shows right now. And then once the pandemic is done, hopefully by next year, then they're going to have an in-person shows.
Why are you doing modeling? Is it because of the money or the challenges?
No. So when I started, I did a lot of charity fashion shows, with the Filipino community. I don't know if you remember Kuya Victor Miller. He is a fashion designer, and I've done a lot of shows with him prior to him moving to Florida now, and doing other great things, right? And it's just something that I like to do. Even when I was in college as well, I've done some modeling as part of a college event, and it just has been within me that I haven't really pursued as a professional, professional job. But right now, because of my height and how it is in the fashion industry before, now that it's being diverse, I get a chance to actually pursue at least a little bit of it, even though it's not a full-time job for me. It's something that I still like to do, and networking with people, with a lot of great people, right? Not just outside, but inside as well.
At your age, at 40 plus, in the modeling field, I'm sure that you've been meeting very young girls in your field, right?
Yes.
And so, what do you feel when you work with them?
You know what? Kids right now, I can tell you they're definitely very supportive. And I learned from them a lot because this is their passion, right? But in a sense, they also learn from me from the outside of fashion world industry experience wise, right? So we support each other, and it works that way. There are times that they would ask me, how do you do it? You're 40 plus and you're still doing this type of thing. And it's just really more of being determined and committed to something that you like, that or you love, right, that you want to do. So it's great overall. And also, I am very fortunate that my family supports me with this, right? My husband is very supportive and my kids are very supportive as well.
That's very important. Family support. And Lena, where do you plan to go from here as far as your modeling career is concerned?
You know what? I'm very open to it. Currently, right now, I've been doing this for about a year and a half, almost going to 2 years now. And it's just something that currently, right now, I'm enjoying. I don't know what it holds for me in the future, but I have really met a lot of great people. And there are ones that I've also been working with them within their fashion shows, and it's not just the modeling portion of it, it's also trying to help them out. So maybe at some point in time I'll be part of their group, and maybe do a part-time or maybe a full-time sometime. I don't know. We'll see.
Wow, terrific. You're still considered a very young girl, and very very pretty too.
Thank you.
It looks like that you're really enjoying life of modeling. Can you give some advice or tips for our young people out there, or not really young, same age as yours or older, who might be interested in entering the modeling career?
So yeah, I'll say that if you're very passionate about it, or at least you wanted to try it, go for it, right? You may not hear yes the first time, but you will learn from it and experience from it. So if you are very determined, just go ahead and do that. It's something that you like, it's something that you want to do. Why not, right? I would say first network with people. You're gonna have to do some photo shoots for sure. Even if you don't know how to post, they will help you out. So it's also having an open mind, and it's not just about the glam and the beauty of it. It's also something that, even if they want to see just a part of your hair or a body, that they can go ahead and promote within the type of designs that they have and styles that they have. Just go ahead and pursue it. It's hard, but it's also rewarding, right? It's your commitment that you're gonna have to put into to be able to be successful in this type of industry.
Are you able to wear avant-garde clothes off the ramp? I know you have to model those kind of clothes, but how about off the ramp? What kind of styles of clothes do you usually wear?
So it actually very different styles. It goes from something that is very hip hop. There are some hippie styles as well, and there are some elegant gowns that you can wear, and even bridal shows. For those that wanted to go ahead and pursue some type of modeling, right? They can start with bridal shows. They do look at models to go ahead and showcase their pieces, because when they go over there, you don't just see it from a hanger or a rack. It's better to see if it works, if a person is actually wearing it, you know. So yeah, it definitely differs from each fashion designers and the type of shows as well. So I can tell you, the last week of August, I went to a show in St. Louis, and the theme was Egyptian kingdom. So it's all about the gods and goddesses that were showcased on that show, and it's a modernized type of outfits that they added headpieces of from the Egyptian world, and they they go together. It actually went really well.
Fantastic. Wow. One last question. Uh, do you have access to some designer sample dresses as a benefit in what you do, modeling?
Yeah, some of them do, provide us with some clothing, for example, and then there are times that they give you discounts to go ahead and purchase that, or there are ones that are very generous and they go ahead and provide you with samples for you to go ahead and showcase. And we do have social media now, so you go ahead and post, and you have to credit them, of course, because that's just courtesy, right? So and then that's how they get well known in the world. So if you go ahead and have a lot of followers as well, they go ahead and see that, and then they go ahead and ask where can they buy those type of pieces, and you provide them with the information, and then that's how they go ahead and sell their products.
I'm really so much impressed, Lena, and I wish you good luck and more
Thank you.
with what you do. Also, I'm really so impressed by you, by being not a typical model that's really very, very tall and very, very thin. She's able to squeeze in as a diverse model in what's going on now in the modeling world. And I really appreciate that.
No, thank you so much for having me, Tita Veronica, and it was nice seeing you.
And Lena, please keep us updated about your modeling career.
Will do.
Give us a call anytime, some exciting assignments that you're having. All right?
Will do. Thank you very much po.
Thank you. Maraming salamat. At maraming salamat din po sa inyong panonood, dear viewers of Cprtv. Bye, Lena.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po. Good morning, viewers, and I'd like to thank you all for tuning in today. I'd like to share a couple of passages from Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. These passages were written to the Philippian church, and they were undergoing tremendous persecution, because this was during the time of Nero, and they were living in a colony which is part of Rome, a Roman colony, and they were fearful and anxious of their lives because of the persecution that's been going on. And the Apostle Paul wanted to encourage them with these promises and wonderful passages of the scriptures, just to inspire them and to encourage them. And so this afternoon, I'd like to encourage you with these words as well, because we are living in a world that is full of trouble. We still have the pandemic, and the Delta variant is wreaking havoc in so many places of the world, even in our own country, the United States. So I'd like to encourage you with these words. So we're gonna focus on worry or anxiety. Worry is from the Greek word meremnao. Two root words, merizo, to divide, and nous, mind. So to worry is to have a mind divided between legitimate thoughts and destructive thoughts. So in other words, worry is something that divides our mind when we think about legitimate thoughts or destructive thoughts. And so that creates a tension within us. Did you know that 40% of the things that we worry about never happen? 30% are related to past matters that we don't have any control over. 12% have to do with anxiety about our health, even though there is no illness present except in the imagination. 10% worry about friends and neighbors, and in most cases, there are really no reason for anxiety. Just 8%, notice this, just 8% seems to have some basis in reality. So in other words, most of the things we worry about never happens. And so that's why I'd like to encourage you with these words today. If you are worrying or anxious about something, about where the world is going, in your own circumstance or situations in life, be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything. But, see, the Apostle Paul did not end there. He said, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And so he's encouraging us to pray and to turn to God and to depend upon Him, to call upon His name in the days of our troubles, so that we can have that confidence to keep going in life, because we know that the great God of the universe is with us. He is there to walk with us. And prayer allows us to have that experience where we are depending on God and we are putting our trust in Him. And the Apostle Paul did not end there. He said, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. He encourages us to give thanks to God, to have that attitude of gratitude. Prayer is good. It gives us that connection with God, but coupled with thanksgiving, it becomes even more powerful. Okay? And then the result is this: let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. So this is a great promise. You will have that peace that surpasses all understanding. It's a supernatural kind of peace. It's a peace that the world cannot give nor understand. It's a peace that only can come from God. And the question is, does prayer change our situation all the time when we go to God? Does He change our situations, and whatever we want, He will grant? Well, not all the time. But this one thing I can assure you: prayer can change you from within. Your attitude towards your circumstances and situations in life. You will have that change of attitude, especially when you couple it with thanksgiving. Because thanksgiving is saying, God, even though I'm going through these situations in my life, I know that what the enemy had meant for evil, you will turn it around and make it for our own good. That's what prayer is all about, and that's what thanksgiving is all about. And that just changes your perspective. So my brothers and sisters, I'd like to encourage you with these words again. Philippians chapter 4, 6 and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. God bless you and see you next time.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Carino-Quetter bringing you this week's local news from our community. The U.S. has more immigrants than any country in the world, yet only 1 in 5 Americans speak a language other than English. An online educational platform named Preply recently surveyed 1,000 Americans to find out if Americans believe they should cater to languages other than English. 7 in 10 say that Americans should cater to other languages. 3 in 4 say that the U.S. should have an official language. 70% of Americans believe ballots and voting materials should be offered in multiple languages. The pros of catering to other languages are 1. Promote equality and equity. 2. Encourage a melting pot of cultures and customs. 3. Fight discrimination, stereotypes, and xenophobia. Cons of catering to other languages are 1. Increased taxes. 2. Frivolous government spending. 3. Make the country less united. And 4. Less opportunities for native English speakers. The notion of the U.S. as a cultural melting pot is common, and the majority of respondents support catering to other languages. However, there is still discomfort in the unfamiliar. Nearly 2 in 5 are bothered by hearing a language other than English in public, and nearly half have criticized or seen someone be criticized for speaking another language. While many support catering to other languages, there's continued room for growth and understanding of different languages and cultures. On September 8th, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity will join state, federal, and local leaders to boost small business recovery grants for Latino businesses in Illinois. DCEO will join U.S. Representatives Jesus Chuy Garcia and community organizations to canvass and speak with businesses in the Humboldt Park community, providing them with information on the recently launched $250 million Back to Business B2B Grants program, and encouraging them to apply while funding remains. B2B grants are designed to help businesses facing ongoing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, including Latino and minority-owned businesses that have been particularly hit hard during the crisis. Cubs Charities announced that the Race to Wrigley 5K charity run presented by Advocate Healthcare will return Saturday, October 2nd, with a new hybrid in-person and virtual option for runners. Runners interested in participating in the 16th annual Race to Wrigley 5K charity run can register online starting September 7th through Friday, October 1st at noon CDT. All runners will receive a 2021 Finisher's Medal, an exclusive race shirt, and a Chicago Cubs MLB tote. We're excited to bring Cubs fans together everywhere for the Race to Wrigley 5K charity run, said Cubs Charities Executive Director Alicia Gonzalez. It's an incredible opportunity to connect with our fans, all while raising funds to help drive positive change throughout our communities. Small businesses are struggling to recover amid pandemic-related headwinds, according to data released from Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Business Voices. The data from a forthcoming survey completed last week is a critical warning sign for policymakers amid the increase in COVID-19 cases that more action is needed to aid small business owners as they continue on their road to recovery. 44% of small business owners have less than 3 months cash reserves, putting their businesses and employees in danger should a COVID-19 related shutdown or other emergency occur. In a troubling sign of an uneven recovery, the number is higher, 51%, for Black-owned small businesses. If small businesses need to access capital, only 31% report being very confident they would get access to funding, and only 20% of Black-owned small businesses report being very confident in their access to capital. Small businesses are also concerned by the level of debt they have taken on as they work toward full recovery. 41% of small businesses said that they were concerned that debt accumulated prior to or during the pandemic will hurt their ability to get back to normal. 55% of Black-owned small businesses report concerns over debt accumulated. America's smoking problem is getting better, but its costs remain incredibly high. A new report from FilterBuy looking at smoking rates throughout the United States states the medical care required to assist smokers and the lost productivity that results from smoking-related health issues exceeds $300 billion in yearly costs. Fortunately, from 1995 to 2019, the prevalence of smoking in the U.S. dropped by approximately 30%. Still, smoking kills more than 480,000 people every year. Researchers ranked cities by smoking rates and included the percentage of adults with other various adverse health problems that are correlated with smoking. And the CDC noted in 2020, 16 million people deal with smoking-related illnesses. Though the country's smoking problem is costly, the good news is that national and local campaigns to end smoking are working. From 1995 to 2019, the prevalence of smoking in the United States dropped by approximately 30%, whereas nearly 1 in 4 Americans smoked in 2000. Only 16% of population claimed to be smokers in 2019. With millions of supporters now online, social media and sports have become increasingly connected. However, many online conversations have led to trolling and increased hate as fans and rivals voice their opinions. Whilst every sports team experiences negativity, which major U.S. teams receive the most? A new report by Action Network has revealed the top 50 U.S. sports teams that are the most talked about negatively. The report analyzed negative posts on social media over the past 12 months, exploring the teams in all major U.S. sports, including the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLS, and the MLB. The NFL featured 9 times in the top 50 list, with the Las Vegas Raiders receiving the most negative sentiment at 14.2%. To collect the data, social listening was utilized and acquired through Linkfluence between July 2020 through July 2021. To determine the order of the list, the percentage of negative sentiment online was collected and put in order with the highest percentage at the top. Las Vegas Raiders are the most negatively discussed team online, with 14.2% of all mentions being negative, scoring 2 times as much as San Jose Sharks, who sits in spot 50 at the end of the list, 5.7%. Observing the data, Dallas Stars come out as the second most negatively talked about team, followed by Arizona Coyotes and Philadelphia 76ers. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Harold C. with the Chicago Eye Institute. We're located here at 5086 North Elston Avenue. In this segment, I wanted to discuss with you a disease which affects 34 million Americans, and that disease is diabetes. The CDC estimates 27 million Americans have been diagnosed with diabetes, which leaves a whopping 7 million that have gone undiagnosed. In fact, approximately 88 million Americans have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes. That's approximately 1/3 of the entire US population. So, how does diabetes affect the eyes? Well, diabetes affects the body by causing damage to the blood vessels. In fact, it causes damage to the lining of the blood vessels. Now, those blood vessels, which affect the end organs, are affected first, such as the hands, the toes, and especially the eyes. What happens is that as the lining of the blood vessels become affected, these vessels become leaky. And so we're looking for any leakage or bleeding inside the eye. So it's important that if you've been diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes, that you come in for a dilated exam so we can find out whether or not you have any signs of diabetic retinopathy. Now, for the most part, most patients with diabetes have no problems in the back of the eyes. And in fact, Most patients leave here with just the instructions of keeping their blood sugars under control. The numbers as ophthalmologists that we aim for is 120 blood sugar on a daily basis. Hemoglobin A1C, which is a more accurate measurement of how well the blood sugar has been controlled, ideally should be 7.0 or under. Now, that control can be dealt with your primary care physician. If we do detect any leakage or bleeding in the back of the eyes, it's important then that we send you to see a retina specialist to determine how much and where. And in fact, the treatment may consist of injections inside the eyes, lasers, or even surgery. So if your diagnosis is diabetes, or if your doctor says you are on the cusp, it's important to make an appointment and come on in to see me. We're here again at 5086 North Elson Avenue at the Chicago Eye Institute. Feel free to call us at 773-282-2000, or you can find us online at thechicagoeyeinstitute.com. Again, I'm Dr. C, and thank you for your time.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Melody Dizon, your Health Matters host, and today I do have a special guest. He is very special because he is a really nice person. No, he is a wealth of information, and I always promise to you that I will always bring people on board on the show, can give us tips or any ideas or how we could have a healthy and happy living. So with me today is Dr. Ravanam. I call him Dr. R. Hi, Dr. R. How are you today?
Hi, Melody. How are you?
I'm good. So, obviously the thing that's going around now, and you hear on the news, the Delta variant. As I know, Dr. Ravanam, you do have a visiting practice, home visiting practice. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then that means that your physicians are visiting at home, just wanting to check how are the Delta variant people compared to the regular traditional COVID-19 people? What have you seen? Any difference as far as severity of the disease, as far as, how they're doing it, coping with it?
A lot of our COVID infected people have had not so good outcomes.
Okay.
And a lot of them, at least 15% of the survivors to 20% have become into a long hauler category. And the rest of them, most of the patients have comorbid factors.
Right.
So that actually increases the severity of the disease process itself. Now with the Delta variant coming into play, which originated in India,
I heard, yes. Yeah.
It is a scary situation right now. I would encourage everybody masking, distancing, vaccinating,
right,
and hand washing for clearly 20-25 seconds with vigorous rubbing and scrubbing with a soap.
That's right.
Detergent, anything.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're never going to get it under control.
And that's the only way to do it from all the stuff that you had mentioned. But Doc, have there been any patients who's refusing the vaccine? And if there is, how have you talked? How do you deal with them? How do you go forward with those patients?
Don't get me started.
Okay, me too. I'm the same way. I'm so passionate about that. I'm like,
Well, there are people who are have their own questions and doubt, and some of them flatly refuse, and we counsel them the best we can with our providers, and then we have our separate special segment of behavioral health specialists, counselors,
thank you,
who then are brought into play to counsel them on health issues and health maintenance and care. Basically, And we are happy to report that we are able to convert them into believers of a vaccine.
Right.
Not for them particularly, but for their loved ones and their family. Because most of our patients are typically homebound and cannot care for themselves.
Right.
People associated around them who take care of them also have to be confident that the patient himself or herself is not infected. So we employ the behavioral health specialists to go and counsel them on receiving a vaccine.
I think that's really, really great. And to think, I didn't even think that far, because you're right. They're coming from somewhere. They're very adamant about not taking the vaccine.
They're not adamant. I would say they're misinformed
or
ill-informed. So our counselors, I forgive me for cutting you short on your segment. Our counselors educate them and say there is nothing to be afraid of for the shot. No other microchip is placed in the vaccine. But having said that, since I come from a little scientific background in vaccines, which I will not disclose, each and every batch has a small protein molecule attached to that batch. And the batch could be 100,000 vaccine batch.
Right.
Just because they need to track who has received or not.
Okay.
Not to trace their bank accounts or their parking tickets or immigration status.
That's worse. That's even worse. Yeah.
So they just want to make sure that they can track who the 100,000 patients are who received it, if there's anything wrong with that batch.
I see. Okay. So, but they themselves don't know it.
No one knows it.
No one knows it. Okay.
No one knows it. It's very, very kept secret and only will be dug into if there is any issue.
Correct. No, and I get it, because then, what if, just say something were to happen? I guess they have to do that fail-safe mechanism, but there's something to go back to.
Something wrong with the batch. Say a crop of some adverse effects in that particular group, then they can go back and trace and see if that batch of vaccine was in fact gone through all the quality measures that were supposed to happened in the right way or not. And then they can correct it if they can be corrected. That's all they need. That's all is the reason why they put that tag.
On that thing. In your place of work, Doc, do you, because I get this all the time, questions, and they're like, are they allowed to mandate vaccination for coming to work? Because there's a lot of spiels right now going on about that.
I would say that it should be a mandate, because if the workplace draws patients who are sick, then the workers at that workplace should not be the one who's spreading the source.
I truly get that.
That's my opinion. It's not a mandate in my office, but all have the vaccine, except those who were pregnant, lactating at that time.
Right, exactly. And they can
so now they want to go back and start getting their immunization.
That's true. You hear people saying, oh, it's my right. I don't need to inform you about if I have the vaccine or not. It's HIPAA violation and it's my freedom. Well, sometimes they just kind of get off
the track.
Off the track. I said, where's the reasoning coming from? I think we're thinking more and above beyond that. We're thinking about keeping you alive. you know, keeping everybody breathing and well.
Everyone has their rights. I respect that. But every other person sitting next to you also has their rights.
Thank you. Right.
So if the other person is masked or didn't come and give you a shake hand or did not sit close to you, keeping their distance, respect that.
That's right. I agree.
So, and if everyone stays united, the saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall.
Right.
And then you've seen that statement coming true again and again.
Yeah.
The new crop of patients who are coming into the hospitals are the ones who were not vaccinated previously.
Yeah.
So
that's a fact.
That should
That
be
is a fact. Yeah.
indication or a signal for people to go and get vaccinated.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much. You know,
Thank
those
you.
are really good insights. And, you know, we always want to hear from different sectors and different people about how they feel about these things. And it's nice to hear directly from a physician who's been really working out there and seeing patients. And so, folks, again, I have Dr. Ravanam with me. He's been very nice to us to give us his time. Until our next meeting again next week. All right, so this is Melody Dizon again, your Health Matters host, and I have Dr. Ravanam with me. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yan! Dito na!